I was known in the industry as a gentleman, always polite, always agreeable. After marrying Grace Kim, I poured everything I had into helping her build her company into one of the top 500 in the business. But then, she gently told me she didn't want me to hold any executive position in the company. Her reason? She wanted to craft the image of an independent, self-made woman and didn't want the world saying she relied on a man for success. I said, okay. And so I quietly stepped back and started writing novels full-time. Still, my mother-in-law wasn't happy with this arrangement. She disapproved of a grown man staying home without a real job. Convinced the elite wives in our social circle were gossiping behind my back, saying I was a man being kept. So she suggested we fire all the household staff and that I personally take care of Grace's daily meals and well-being. I smiled and agreed again. Sure. From then on, I threw myself into learning how to cook. I even earned a nutritionist's license, just to make sure Grace had meals that were not only tasty but nutritionally balanced every single day. Until one day, Grace's executive assistant sent me a screenshot from Instagram. It was a post from her newly hired male assistant. In the picture, a beautifully plated bento, full of vibrant colors and perfectly portioned dishes. I recognized it immediately. It was the lunch I had made for Grace. The caption read, "The mighty queen has tamed the instant noodle demon and rescued the knight with a stomachache." At the same time, Grace, who almost never updates her Instagram, posted a rare photo. It was just a plain cup of spicy beef-flavored instant noodles, with a plastic fork in frame. The caption, "A taste I've missed so much." When I saw all this, I didn't even get angry. Instead, I smiled and calmly commented under her post with a single word, "Great." Then I immediately called a large supermarket and cheerfully said, "Please send 100 boxes of spicy beef instant noodles to Kim Group headquarters. If she missed the taste so much, then I'd make sure she got her fill." After all, I've always been an easygoing, agreeable man. Chapter 1. As soon as I stepped into the house, executive assistant Marco sent me a message. It was a screenshot from Instagram. Grace's new assistant Claude had posted a photo of a lunchbox. The food was perfectly arranged: meat, veggies, fish, all nutritionally balanced and clearly prepared with care. Claude's caption read, "The mighty queen has tamed the instant noodle demon and rescued the knight with a stomachache." I stared in confusion. Why was the lunch I made for Grace in her assistant's hands? Before I could process it, Marco messaged me again. "Check Instagram." Still puzzled, I opened the app. One glance, and I was about ready to explode. Grace, who rarely ever posted anything, had uploaded a photo too. It was a shot of spicy beef instant noodles, and a hand holding a plastic fork. Her caption, "A taste I've missed so much." That ungrateful woman. She gave the meal I carefully prepared to her assistant, and went to eat instant noodles herself. Just as I was about to call her and demand an explanation, my mother-in-law's name popped up on the screen. I picked up the call, and before I could even lift the phone to my ear, her voice was already screaming through the line. "Kevin, what the hell is wrong with you? Why didn't you prepare lunch for Grace today? Don't you know she has a sensitive stomach and can't eat spicy food? How could you let her eat that junk?" "Mom, I did make her lunch." "Made lunch? If you really did, why would she end up eating instant noodles?" She cut me off before I could finish. "I just called Grace. She said you had a meeting with your editor and forgot to make her lunch. You stay home all day writing. You don't even go to the office. All I ask is that you make one meal for her, and you can't even do that right." I didn't bother arguing. I hung up, then immediately sent her the screenshot from Claude's Instagram. "You see that? Your daughter fed the lunch I made her to another man." Silence. I felt a tight knot in my chest. I needed to see blood. Grace, that two-faced woman, gave the lunch I made with care to her boy toy assistant, posted a flirty Instagram caption for him, then lied to her mom and said I never made lunch at all. She was flirting at the office with her pretty little assistant, and yet I was the one getting scolded. She knows spicy food messes up her stomach, but she insisted on eating it anyway, because she knew I'd be there to wait on her while she lay in pain. Well then, if she loves that familiar taste so much, I'll make sure she gets more than enough of it. Chapter 2. That afternoon, a delivery truck from the supermarket stopped in front of Kim Group's main entrance. The workers opened the cargo bay and began stacking box after box of instant noodles in the company's lobby. A young receptionist rushed over in a panic. "Stop, stop, you must have the wrong address." I stepped out from behind the truck, and the receptionist quickly straightened up. "Good afternoon, Vice President Koo." "No mistake. This is the right place," I said, pointing at the growing mountain of instant noodles. "Find someone to deliver all 100 boxes to President Kim's office." With that, I walked straight into the elevator. Inside the office, Grace Kim looked at the stacks of instant noodles with a furious expression. "Kevin Koo, can you stop acting crazy? I only gave him the lunch you made for me because his stomach was upset and he was still eating instant noodles," she said. "He's just a subordinate. There's nothing between us." I smiled. "Grace, cheating isn't just about sleeping together. You know exactly what's going on in your heart. You're clearly enjoying this ambiguous tension between you two. You enjoy the way he looks at you with those admiring eyes. There are plenty of people in your company. If someone else had a stomachache, would you also give them my lunch? We've been married long enough. You don't really think I don't know what kind of person you are, do you? You posted that Instagram, and immediately your mom came at me demanding an explanation. Tell me, what exactly did you say to her? Just then, the door opened. Claude walked in wearing a t-shirt, denim jeans, and black canvas sneakers, sunny, boyish. Not my type of person at all. Mr. Koo, your coffee. Without hesitation, I grabbed the coffee and threw it on him. Startled, Claude should have stepped back to avoid it, but instead, he stumbled straight into Grace's arms. Grace caught him and immediately snapped, her face flushed with anger. Kevin, what is wrong with you? This is the office, not your house. No one's going to indulge your tantrums here. I sneered as I looked at the two of them practically tangled together. Go ahead. Hold him tighter. Put some real effort into it. Maybe your queen will finally divorce me and promote her stomachache-prone night. The two of them turned red and quickly stepped apart. I pointed at Claude, now soaked with coffee. And you still have the nerve to say there's no favoritism? What did he just call me? Mr. Koo, am I not still the vice president of this company? Or have you already fired me behind my back? Was that title, Mr. Koo, something you told him to use? Are you trying to suggest I'm irrelevant now? Every male employee in this company wears suits. The dress code clearly says white shirts and dark ties. Even I have to follow it. What's with his getup? Is that your new kink or something? Grace's face showed a flash of embarrassment, like a student caught cheating on an exam. That's ridiculous, she muttered. He just hasn't found the right clothes yet. That's why I let him wear his own stuff for now. Don't overthink it, Grace. He's been working here for nearly a month. What kind of clothes take a month to find? Even a pig could have bought a suit by now. Well, I'm done with this, I said flatly. You handle it however you want. I pointed to the boxes of noodles in the hallway. Starting tomorrow, I won't cook for you anymore. When you've finished reminiscing your way through those 100 boxes of instant noodles, then maybe I'll consider making you a meal again. You don't like the food I make? Fine. You can spend your life with those noodles from now on. Grace frowned in exasperation. Can you stop being so unreasonable? When did I ever say I didn't like your food? Oh, so you do like it. I pulled a lunchbox out of my bag, opened the lid, and placed it in front of her. Eat it. You said you liked it, right? With a loud slap, Grace smacked her hand on the desk. Kevin, are you out of your mind? Why the hell did you pack dog food in this lunchbox? It's your meal. Didn't you like feeding my food to the dog? I turned my eyes to Claude. To the knight with the sensitive stomach, this dinner was specially prepared by your humble servant. Eat it. What are you waiting for? Chapter 3. Claude stood behind Grace, his shirt stained with coffee, head lowered in solemn silence. His expression was so full of tragic dignity, you'd think the CEO had just ordered him to commit ritual suicide in the office. Claude, if you really dream of becoming the husband of a powerful female CEO, then you should know, these privileged heiresses do like sunshine boys like you. But they'll never actually marry someone who does nothing but pout and call them big sis. If you're content with being her pretty boy assistant, or a lifelong secret fling with no title and no name, then go ahead and keep acting like this. Let's see if your queen will ever marry a knight who gets stomachaches from instant noodles. But if your plan is to push me out and take my place, then show me you've got the guts to go all in. The guts it takes for a side piece to make it official. I slid the lunchbox of dog food toward him. Eat it. If you do, Grace will definitely take your side and turn against me. That'll bring you one step closer to becoming her trusted courtier. You want to climb the social ladder, but you're too afraid to lose face. Then you're doomed to spend your life being some rich woman's fake banana or rotten cucumber. Claude clearly wasn't listening to me. The humiliation on his face deepened as he retorted. Mr. Koo, I may just be a low-level assistant, but that doesn't mean I have no dignity. You're insulting my character. There has never been anything inappropriate between President Kim and me. You're judging me with your own twisted assumptions. I scoffed. Insulting your character? What? Don't have a mirror? You piss, don't you? Go take a long hard look at yourself in that. I let out a cold laugh. Nothing inappropriate. You really have the nerve to say that. As a personal assistant, you can't even dress the part. Look at you. Does this look like how an assistant should dress? If you walked into a client meeting like that, do you think they'd see you as the assistant, or as the CEO's arm candy? A real assistant solves problems for their boss, not creates them. You ate her lunch and acted proud of it. If you truly had any dignity, you'd resign right here and now. Instead, you stand here pretending you're too noble to be insulted, hiding behind a woman's skirt like a coward. Enough. Grace kicked the lunchbox, sending its contents flying. Kevin, you've gone too far. This is a company. He's my assistant. What gives you the right to treat someone I hired like this? Kibble and rice splattered across the floor, and onto me. I stood motionless, like a statue, letting it all hit me without flinching. Grace, I'll give you two options now. 1. You keep your night with the weak stomach, and we get a divorce. 2. You fire him, and I'll pretend none of this ever happened. I won't bring it up again. 1 or 2. Your choice. No way. Grace answered without hesitation. This company has its rules and procedures. No one has the right to fire an employee without cause. I nodded. Got it. Message received. Without another word, I got up and headed for the door. Grace caught up and grabbed my arm. Kevin, can you stop making a scene? Let go. I yanked my arm free. Grace, you made the choice. Why are you pulling me back now? It's the 21st century. Don't tell me you actually plan to keep a lover on the side. Are you planning to replace me with him? Or are you setting him up in some secret love nest? Kevin, just let me explain. Get out of my face. I cut her off mercilessly. Chapter 4. The first thing I did when I got home was delete Grace's fingerprint from the smart lock. Come home when you're done missing those 100 boxes of instant noodles. Grace really took it to heart and didn't come back. That night, Marco messaged me again. Claude had posted another photo on Instagram, flaunting a Van Cleef Arpels watch on his wrist, its glint practically blinding. Caption, a one-of-a-kind consolation prize, a little joy reserved for the night. I may not have been a Van Cleef Arpels member today, but that didn't mean I wouldn't be one tomorrow. With one phone call and a few messages, the boutique manager personally assured me over the phone, practically thumping his chest. Mr. Koo, don't worry, I'll break my legs if I have to, but I'll get every piece you need tonight. By the next morning, everyone in the company received a gift from Vice President Koo. Every male employee got the exact same watch Claude had. Every female employee got a Van Cleef Arpels bracelet. The condition for claiming the gift was simple. Everyone had to post a photo on Instagram with the caption, "Equal opportunity bonus, a little joy from the VP." When everyone saw Claude's post from the night before, the whole company turned their gaze on him with undisguised contempt. Several department heads loyal to me even openly mocked him in the comments. The white dove of the church won't kiss the crow, and you from the toilet won't go home hungry. Others are fireworks of different colors. You are a big bundle of 50-cent firecrackers. People rely on clothes. Horses rely on saddles, and dogs run happily with a bell on their necks. From that day on, the entire company began isolating Claude. Just a few $1,000 gifts were enough to unify everyone against him. Even those so-called brothers who used to chat with Claude about everything began eyeing him the way you'd look at a kept man. Claude couldn't understand it. When the CEO favored him, these people looked at him with envy. But in the blink of an eye, those same people started pointing fingers, even openly calling him a toad trying to eat swan meat. The watch he had attached so much meaning to, the one that made him feel like he was finally rising, now felt like a loud, humiliating slap to the face. The very watch on his wrist had become the smoking gun that got him ridiculed and alienated at work. With a long face, he knocked on Grace's office door and laid the watch on her desk. "President Kim, I appreciate the gesture, but I think you'd better take this watch back." Chapter 5. Since we got married, this was the worst fight Grace and I had ever had. She stormed back home and, right in front of me, smashed the jade screen carved with our wedding photo. Then she shattered the custom porcelain pair I had commissioned from Jing Dejun. "Kevin, how did I never notice how petty you are? You're seriously jealous of an assistant. He's just a fresh college graduate. Did you really need to make such a big deal out of it? I already told you, nothing is going on between us. Why won't you just let it go?" I calmly looked at the wreckage around the room, as if none of these broken pieces had anything to do with me. "Nothing is going on." I stared directly into her eyes. "If he's feeling sick, your job is to give him time off to get checked out, not to use the lunch I made for you as bait to flirt with some boy toy. That watch might be just pocket change to you, but to him it's worth several months of salary out of everyone in the company. Why did you give it to him?" Grace defended herself with confidence. "Because you jumped to conclusions and made him feel humiliated. I was afraid he'd start talking crap outside, so I gave him the watch to smooth things over, for your sake." "Oh really? You think I need you to clean up after me? I'm a grown man, I can own up to my own actions." "Grace, stop acting like your conscience is spotless. Do you really think I don't see through your little dirty games? You see every Instagram post he makes. You really can't tell he's dropping hints. You're enjoying this vague, responsibility-free flirting. You just want to feel desired by someone who looks at you like that. You know I see his posts. You know they piss me off. You know defending him hurts me. But you still let it happen. You even came home and picked a fight with me, for him. So now you've got two men fighting over you. Feeling smug. Feeling irresistible." I pointed at the shattered mess on the floor. "That screen, my dad gave us that before the wedding. It was carved from a single piece of jade and took almost 3 months to make. Those porcelain vases you smashed, I worked with the craftsman, learning every step of the process, engraving our names on them by hand. And that jade fan with both our names on it, you didn't even hesitate when you stomped on it. You destroyed everything that symbolized our marriage. So tell me, what exactly is that supposed to mean?" As I spoke, the fury drained from Grace's face, replaced by panic. "Kevin, Let me explain. No need. I cut her off. I get the message loud and clear. I grabbed the heavy crystal ornament from the table and added, I have a self-harming streak. Go ahead, file for divorce. Chapter 6. By the time my in-laws arrived at the hospital, I had just finished getting my wounds bandaged. My head was wrapped so thickly in gauze, left and right, that I looked like a crown prince from some oil-rich kingdom. My mother-in-law was startled the moment she saw me like that. Kevin, are you insane? You did this to yourself. Who are you trying to threaten? Can't people sit down and talk things through anymore? Does it have to come to bloodshed for you to feel satisfied? I sneered. Don't worry, I don't hit women, and I'm not using this to blackmail your family. What the hell happened? Why did things escalate this far? I turned to look at Grace, who was quietly picking at her fingernail. Don't you think you owe them an explanation as to why I would hurt myself? Grace stayed silent and turned her head away. Fine, if you won't say it, I will. I pointed at my father-in-law, who'd been silent the whole time. Mom, actually this fight was all because of my dad. He's been hiding something from you. My father-in-law's eye twitched. Me? What the hell would I be hiding from your mom? My dad recently met a woman in her 40s. When you're not home, he invites her over for dinner and even buys her jewelry. I've seen it more than once, but he keeps telling me not to say anything to you. He insists they're just friends and nothing has happened. When I told him I would tell you, he got mad and told me to mind my own business. My father-in-law looked like he was about to explode. Kevin, is this how your parents raised you? To slander me in front of your mother-in-law? Shut up. My mother-in-law suddenly let out a shriek, startling everyone in the room. Well, Mr. Kim, I was wondering why you've been picking fights with me lately. Turns out you've got a side chick. I quickly stepped in to calm her. Mom, please don't get worked up. My dad, apart from treating her to meals and giving her gifts, really hasn't done anything else. I swear he hasn't gone any further with that woman. That's already too much. Even thinking about it is already cheating. Her face flushed red with rage. Cheating is cheating, doesn't matter if it's physical or emotional. What? Are there shades of cheating now? Dark green versus light green? Mom, come on, be the bigger person. You divorce my dad over something so small. And besides, this is his first time making a mistake. Maybe you could just forgive him. She glared at me. Forgive him? And why the hell should I forgive him? If I forgive him now, I might as well move out and make room for that little slut. My father-in-law turned green with rage. Don't listen to this brat. There's no woman. He's making it all up. Just as my mother-in-law was about to start yelling again, I nodded. Exactly. There's no woman. I made the whole thing up. Both of them froze. What? You made it up? I nodded. Yes, I fabricated the whole story. My dad doesn't know any woman like that. I then pointed at Grace, who looked like she was about to crawl under the hospital bed. But the story was based on your daughter. Your daughter took the lunch I made for her and gave it to her assistant, then went and ate instant noodles herself. And afterward, she gave him a brand new luxury watch. When I told her to fire that boy toy, not only did she refuse, she insisted on keeping him as her assistant. I had someone make things a little tough for him at work, and she completely flipped on me. Just now, she trashed our entire home for him. She destroyed everything that had to do with our marriage. You tell me, was that just a coincidence? Or was she sending me a message? I looked at my still stunned mother-in-law. Mom, if this exact story had happened to you, just hearing it would make your blood boil. But now that it's your daughter doing it, and it's worse than what I made up, you're not seriously going to tell me to just suck it up, are you? Her entire face sagged, making her look, for a moment, like a sad wrinkly Shar-Pei. Chapter 7. Even after I hurt myself like that, Grace still refused to agree to a divorce. Kevin, I know I was in the wrong this time, but I promise it'll never happen again. Please, give me one more chance. Okay. Fine, I said. Then tell me, how do you plan to fix this? Grace thought for a moment. I'll transfer him to another department. He won't be my assistant anymore. Will that do? I let out a cold laugh. Grace, goodbye. With that, I opened the door to the hospital room and walked straight out. My mother-in-law quickly caught up and grabbed my arm. Kevin, why are you so hot-tempered? Can't you two talk this out? I shook her hand off. Talk? Talk about what? If my dad brought some random woman into the house and hired her as a live-in maid, would you be okay with that? If she didn't have feelings for that boy toy, why is she so reluctant to let him go? Ma'am, there's no point talking further. Your daughter and I just aren't meant to be. If you've got time, maybe go ask that boy toy if he wants to take over your son-in-law's job, because I'm done. I turned and walked off, shutting the elevator door before Grace could catch up. Her voice grew fainter and fainter as the elevator descended. 3 days later, I boarded a plane to leave the country. Before I left, I threw everything in that house that had anything to do with me into the yard, and set it all on fire. At the airport, my dad gave my shoulder a firm pat. Son, Northwest matter which road you take, I've got your back. I've already set everything up. Once you seal the deal, I'll have your mom bring over the contract and the company seal. Don't worry, if that Kim family dares step foot near our house, I'll break their damn legs. As the plane pierced through the clouds, I stared at the shrinking city below and let out a long sigh. Right before I left, I had struggled with myself one last time, and in the end, I decided to give Grace one more chance. But just as I was about to open the door to the villa, I heard Claude's laughter coming from inside. That laugh was loud, so heavy it made my hand freeze on the doorknob. Through the window, I saw Claude sitting smugly on the living room couch, feeding sliced apples piece by piece into Grace's mouth. My mother-in-law sat on the chair across from me, her face scrunched up in laughter, all her facial features squeezed together, just like an anus surrounded by irregular folds. This young man is so handsome, so sweet, so considerate, way better than that Kevin. No wonder Grace likes him. Claude chuckled modestly. Auntie, you're too kind. I'm just President Kim's assistant. I could never compare to Mr. Koo. Why not? That Kevin's got no manners at all, always pissing me off or making a scene. Can't even take care of his own wife. If it weren't for our business ties with his family, I would have made Grace divorce him ages ago. Grace sat with her head lowered, no expression on her face. Mom, that's enough. Don't talk nonsense. I'm not divorcing Kevin. Claude's hand trembled, and a slice of apple fell to the floor. Oh dear. Sorry, President Kim. I'm such a klutz. Grace lifted her head slightly, a faint softness in her eyes. It's okay. Just wipe it off. Outside the villa, I turned and walked away, this time without a shred of hesitation in my heart. Chapter 8. I stayed overseas for a full year. During that time, Marco, my chief assistant, would occasionally send me updates about Grace. The company ran smoothly. Grace went to work every day as if everything were business as usual. Only Claude felt out of place. Though he kept making mistakes, there was always someone ready to step in and take the fall for him at critical moments. So in the company, things were oddly smooth for him. From assistant to personal assistant, then from personal assistant to deputy special assistant. Marco said if I'd come back even a month later, HR might have called him in for a serious talk. I haven't seen anything inappropriate between President Kim and him, but I also don't know what happens in private. I won't speculate blindly. He's been promoted way too fast, and since you've been away so long, people in the company have started gossiping. Some of the flatterers have even started calling him Junior VP behind closed doors. Oh right, President Kim goes back to the family estate every weekend. Claude goes too, but he doesn't stay overnight. Looking at Marco's messages, I could tell he probably wasn't having an easy time. If it weren't for the task I had given him, he likely would have resigned a long time ago. Don't push yourself. There's already a spot waiting for you at Koo Corp, Executive Vice President. The moment you want to come over, you can quit. Marco replied with a smirking emoji. I knew you were coming back, so I submitted my resignation yesterday. I sent him a handshake emoji. Welcome to Koo Corp, Vice President Marco. After finishing my chat with Marco, I opened the message window with Grace. Over the past year, she had called me countless times, but I hung up every single one. Eventually, she started calling less and less. In the past 3 months, she had almost stopped calling altogether. She knew I had people planted in the company, yet she still brazenly promoted the utterly incompetent Claude to executive assistant, which meant she wasn't even trying to hide it. She didn't care if I found out. That left only 2 possibilities. Either she had completely given up on me, or she really had no romantic intentions toward Claude and it was just a standard boss-employee relationship. But she was far too careless, because while I didn't have anyone stationed at the Kim family estate, Marco did. Staring at the empty chat window, I sent her 2 messages. I'm back. You've got 2 days. Clear out anything that doesn't belong in the villa. If I see something I shouldn't, I can't guarantee what I might do. The moment the message was sent, I saw the status bar change. It stayed on typing for nearly a full minute, like someone caught red-handed. Then finally, Grace replied with just 1 sentence. All right, I understand. Chapter 9. After I landed, my dad personally came to pick me up from the airport. I stayed at my parents' place for 2 days and gave my father a detailed report about the developments abroad. On the 3rd afternoon, I drove back to the villa, but before that, I made a stop at the Kim family estate. I still had a room there. Some of my things needed to be collected. When I opened the villa door, Grace was having dinner with her parents. The 4 of them were happily chatting like a close-knit family. Claude was sitting in the spot I used to sit, saying something that made my mother-in-law burst into laughter. He now carried himself with the air of a full-fledged Kim family son-in-law. My unexpected arrival caught everyone off guard. Both my mother-in-law and Claude froze. The smiles stuck on their faces like masks. Grace jumped up instantly, like a kid caught sneaking a stray dog home, her face full of awkward embarrassment. My father-in-law, on the other hand, didn't react much. The man's got terrible eyesight and never wears glasses. Within 5 meters, he can't tell male from female. Past 10 meters, people and furniture are all the same. Once he realized it was me, a flicker of displeasure and reproach flashed through his eyes, but he didn't say anything. Oh hey, dinner time. Huh? As I passed by the table, I casually reached into Grace's bowl, grabbed a peeled shrimp, and tossed it into my mouth like I had just been there earlier that morning. Go ahead and eat. I'm just here to grab a few things. I'll be gone in a sec. Ignoring the people at the table, I headed straight upstairs, packed up the things from my drawer into a bag, and turned to leave, only to find Grace standing in the doorway. Kevin, I gently pushed her aside. No need to explain. As I walked past her, she grabbed my arm, eyes shimmering with unshed tears. Honey, I missed you so much. I didn't pull away. I just patted her on the shoulder. Let go. Your boyfriend's watching. Grace stiffened. She turned her head and saw Claude standing at the stairwell, staring at us. A flush of embarrassment rose to her cheeks. Honey, please let me explain. This isn't what you think. It's fine. Don't you bring him to the family estate every weekend? I already know, I said. I patted her cheek and gave her a rehearsed, hollow smile. No need to explain. Then I walked downstairs without another glance. As I passed Claude, I didn't even look at him. Once I left the Kim family estate and got in my car, Grace ran out after me. Honey, wait. Before I could lock the door, she yanked it open. Kevin, listen to me. Her words died in her throat. Her face froze with shock, like she'd been hit with a paralysis spell. She stayed there, gripping the car door, unmoving, eyes locked onto the inside of the car. What is this? In the passenger seat lay a contract. On it, the bold, unmistakable Sword Shield logo stood out. Oh, that. I picked it up and waved it at her, unable to hide the pride in my voice. That's the raw materials supply contract I finalized. From now on, all domestic supplies will be handled exclusively by Q Corp. I gave Grace Kim, still frozen in place, a polite smile. Relax. I'll supply Kim Corp at the original price. And please, close the door on your way out. Thanks. Chapter 10. Grace lost it. She was tailing the nanny van in her car, with her parents right behind her, and Claude's flashy red Ferrari at the end of the train, sticking out like a sore thumb. I didn't care about this little convoy tailgating me like boxcars. I let them follow me all the way to the villa. Once back home, I ignored the tails behind me and went straight upstairs to shower. Before heading up, I made sure to casually place the signed contract right on the living room table. When I came back down, I saw my in-laws pacing around the living room like they had hemorrhoids, couldn't sit, couldn't stand still, just aimlessly walking in circles. Grace grabbed my hand. Kevin, what is going on here? What do you mean? Grace was clearly getting anxious. She pointed at the contract on the table. This contract. I'm talking about this contract. What is this about? I told you, didn't I? I spent this past year abroad working on that. Took a lot of effort to close the deal. No pressure though. I'll give Kim Corp the same prices as before. Kevin, what kind of bullshit are you saying? My mother-in-law was panicking for real now, scolding me but unable to peel her eyes off the contract. You're doing this to drive Kim Corp into a corner, aren't you? Well now, look at you. Sharp as ever. That's a brilliant move. Why didn't I think of it myself? She was fidgeting like a bug on a hot pan. Kevin, you and Grace are a married couple. Your father and I have always treated you like our own son. You can't destroy us like this. When did I say I was trying to destroy you? That's not good enough. Words don't mean anything. You have to put it in writing or I won't be at ease. My father-in-law nodded. Exactly. Give us something in writing. We need reassurance. Seeing my mother-in-law push her luck, I took a step back before she could grab me. Don't act like we're one big happy family. Your daughter and I are getting divorced. Both of them immediately turned to look at Grace. Grace shook her head like a rattle drum. Kevin, when did I ever say I was agreeing to a divorce? When? Maybe around the time you started keeping that boy toy around. The villa door suddenly swung open. My dad marched in, face like thunder, glaring at the Kims like he was ready to tear them apart. This villa was bought by me. This is my house. I don't want any of you here. Get the hell out. My mother-in-law didn't dare speak tough now. Sir, please, let's talk this through. The kids just had a little disagreement. It's not serious enough for divorce, right? Not serious enough. My dad's eyes widened. Where were you when your daughter was keeping that boy toy around? Where were you when my son was sharing Q Corp's orders with your Kim Corp? And now that my son's back with full distribution rights, what are you doing? He pointed to the red Ferrari parked outside. Dragging your toy boy here to negotiate. Wow, the Kim family really has some open-minded values. Huh? Grace, you haven't even divorced my son yet, and you're already dragging your boy toy into my house asking for favors. Do you think I'm dead? Grace was almost on her knees in desperation. Dad, please listen to me. My dad stepped forward, grabbing and shoving the three Kims toward the door. I don't want to hear it. Get out. Scram. The farther the better. Before slamming the door shut, he glared at them one last time. Mark my words, if you want access to the materials, fine, but don't piss me off, or I'll make sure your whole family ends up begging with canes at the train station. Chapter 11. That night, Grace tore into Claude outside the villa, yelled at him so viciously that he ran off with his tail between his legs. Marco told me the company rejected Claude's resignation and wanted him to stay on as executive assistant, but he turned them down. He said Grace transferred Claude to the business division and even replaced his assistant with a woman. Marco asked me curiously, "Are you planning to forgive her?" "Forgive her? Not a chance," I answered without a shred of hesitation. Affection that arrives late is worth less than weeds. If she had done this a year ago, maybe I would have considered giving her another chance. But now, it means nothing to me. I'm not the type who eats someone's leftovers. The villa had become like a giant magnet, constantly drawing the attention of my in-laws. Afraid I might cut off Kim Corp's supply chain, they kept dropping by every couple of days trying to feel me out. I mean, I'm cold, inconsiderate, and completely lacking in manners, right? So it should be perfectly reasonable that I won't let you in. Hearing that, my mother-in-law looked like she wanted to crawl into a hole. Continuing the supply chain isn't impossible, but I have a condition. What condition? Just say it. I pulled out a document. I want a divorce from Grace, as long as she signs. Not only will I guarantee your supply, I'll even give Kim Corp a discount. Sounds like a good deal, doesn't it? They both went silent, staring at the divorce agreement as their faces completely collapsed. But before Grace could sign, something unexpected happened. Claude called me and asked to meet. At the cafe, he showed up in a black suit, tie perfectly knotted, his face showing that tired, overworked look common to corporate people. Things weren't going well for him at the company. The once called junior VP was now a joke, a wannabe who'd flown too close to the sun. The fact that he hadn't resigned already just meant he had a thick enough skin, or no shame at all. As soon as he saw me, he skipped the small talk. Why did you come back? If you hadn't come back, I was this close to becoming Kim Corp's son-in-law. You only have what you have because you were the first husband, because you were born into a better family. If not for that, you wouldn't be any competition at all. She was almost mine. I smirked. Competition? You seriously think you were ever competition? You're really overestimating yourself. Weren't you the one who said you liked Grace for who she is? And that titles didn't matter. So why are you so desperate to move up now? Claude's face twisted in rage. What do you know? Kevin, your only advantage is being luckier than me. Why do you get to marry Grace, while I'm constantly overlooked, when I've already done everything I can to get her attention? I'm buried in payday loans, gambling debt, everything, and I was finally about to win her over. Why the hell did you have to come back now? This is all your fault. If it weren't for you, I'd already be Kim Corp's son-in-law. You should die. Grace should die. You all should just die. I calmly smiled and picked up my phone from the table. Did you hear all that? Following my gaze, Claude looked outside the cafe, and there stood Grace. He rushed out, frantically trying to explain, but the fury and disgust in Grace's eyes only deepened. Get out. Don't ever show your face in front of me again, or I swear I won't let you off. Claude ran, fled in panic under Grace's near-murderous glare. Grace turned to me, eyes full of regret. Kevin, I'm sorry. I cut her off. I told you. No need to explain. What you just said to him, that's exactly what I wanted to say to you. Grace, stay the hell away from me. Just seeing you makes me sick. Chapter 12. Since Grace refused to agree to a divorce, I had no choice but to take her to court. I sold my shares in the company, turning it into a subsidiary of Kim Corp. That was my dad's idea. We're squeezing Kim Corp by the throat now. That sorry excuse of a company is just dead weight. Even if we don't bleed her dry, her whole family's going to choke on this. Forget pride, let's go for power. Let's see how arrogant the Kims can still be after this. I didn't really care about the Kim family's business, but the divorce? That truly set me free. My in-laws, terrified I'd cancel the contract, pressured Grace into trying every possible tactic to seduce me. Marco told me Claude had become disabled. He had run off to another city and gone back to his old ways. This time, he successfully played the boy toy role and managed to win over a female CEO, quickly becoming her secret lover. But the woman turned out to be a sadist. During one of her violent sessions, she accidentally injured one of Claude's eyes, leaving him partially blind. Afterward, she tossed him aside like trash, handing him a few thousand yuan as hush money. Meanwhile, Grace remained relentlessly determined to get back together with me, but I never intended to give her that chance. I know you and Claude never slept together, but that doesn't mean you're clean. You enabled a man to openly provoke your husband. That, to me, is an unforgivable betrayal. I married you because I loved you. I'm divorcing you because I won't let you hurt me again. Whether or not you love me is irrelevant. Seeing how firm I was, Grace swore she'd never marry anyone else in her life, that she'd devote herself to me completely. But how much truth was in that vow? I didn't care, because it no longer had anything to do with me. From then on, Kim Corp collapsed into mediocrity. They didn't dare take any large orders, afraid I'd cut off their supply chain and make them lose everything. Grace was in pain. Many times, she even got down on her knees to beg me to take her back. She probably regretted it to the point her guts were twisted into knots, but I didn't care anymore. Endless forgiveness only breeds strays, and the best way to deal with a dog you can't put down is to give it one good, solid kick.